Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to this video, guys. I hope all you guys are well. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. Now, let's continue with today's lesson. So, today's lesson is Balagha. And as you guys know, Balagha is all about trying to understand the linguistic devices, the expressions, the way words are sequenced in Arabic, and more specifically in the Quran, to understand exact translations of the ayah. So, without any further ado, let's start then. So ذلك is a وذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا. So ذلك اليوم الحق. ذلك is a word for ishara, and it comes for indication. When you're indicating something which is far away, right? So something which is very far away, you're indicating it. Now, in Arabic, this word is used for distance, and it's used also for something which is tangible as well. So you have, for example, like, you want to talk about something, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابِ, that. So you want to give it a distance. And by giving it a distance, you're actually giving it a high status as well, right? Because you're pointing at it from far away. So it's also something which is, you're making it tangible as though people can see it. So by you pointing, it's like you saying, that thing everyone can see. And everyone, all of mankind is looking at it. ذَلِكَ. So it gives it more, it creates something which is غير محسوس, it makes it محسوس. Right, so it makes it something which can be perceived. Now, so ذَلِكَ, this has that meaning. So you have ذَلِكَ also, when you say that, your mind goes towards something else, right? So it takes you back somewhere, your mind goes back. So you're trying to think which ayahs earlier on were mentioned where something about day was mentioned. So, two ayahs. Inna yawm al-fasl, the day of the separation, decision, and yawm يقوم الروح والملائكة. So these two verses, it's like saying ذلك اليوم الحق, that day, that particular day is the day of the truth, right? So you're kind of pointing, so it's like the reader knows, he's read through the surah, and then remember that day, ذلك اليوم الحق, indicating towards it. Right, the word al-yawm, it has an alif lam on there, the day, al-yawm, the day, and it's like you're making it definite now. So you're making it something which the listener knows what you're talking about, right? And by using al, you're giving it a form of completeness as well. Kamal, tamam, right? So it is the day. It's like saying all the days in the world were not a day compared to the day of judgment. The day of judgment is the day, meaning it's the complete, perfect day. And all other days are overshadowed by this day. So ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمِ. Now, if you didn't say al, if you said ذَلِكَ يَوْمِ, you're just informing someone of something. You're just saying ذَلِكَ يَوْمُ الْحَقِّ, that is a day. By saying ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ, the day, the perfect day, the complete day. What is it? It's the day of judgment. The day I'm talking about, ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ. So it creates this grandeur, it creates this kind of greatness on that day in your heart. You're thinking, whoa, ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ, that day. So by using this, you're creating inside the minds of the reader this imagery as well, right? By pointing at it. Al-Haq. Now, this word Al-Haq can either be an adjective or it can actually be the khabar. So you can translate it as in, you can say, like, ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمِ, that day is the haq. That day is the ultimate, thing which exists. The haq, the thing which is not false. Or you can actually make it into a sifa. You can say ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ, that is the haq day. Now the word haq in Arabic actually means something which is firm, stays, strong. It doesn't get washed away. It's the true reality. It's the truth. It's the reality of something which is not false, something which is not, obscure or anything. It is the truth. So it shouldn't be translated as truth itself, because that word for that is sidq, sadiq. ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الصَّادِقُ. We don't want to say that. What we want to say is ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ, that is the day which is the firm, established, thabit, true day. So this is why we can get, the meaning of firmness from there. You can get the meaning of truth from there. Like all other days are like a mirage compared to this day. This day is the absolute truth. It's the thing which, when people get onto this day, they are going to see all other days as being non-existent. Just like in the Quran, Allah mentions, on that day, when they see this day, it's going to seem as though all their entire life in the dunya placed on one side of the scale meant nothing compared to this day. This is how powerful this day is going to be. So ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ. Now, all of this, what this basically does, it gives the meaning of, you can say, greatness, grandeur, right? ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ. You want the listener to have this greatness inside of him. Whoa, like about this day. You're kind of like, you're like a film trailer where you have, you mention all the amazing parts. So it kind of gives you this kind of like this amazing part of the movie. The trailer does. It brings like all the amazing parts. It makes you intrigued about it. It makes you kind of think, whoa, this is amazing. So similar with this, ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ. This greatness comes into your heart about the day of judgment. Now, the Al-Haq, when you have the Al over here in a khabar, what it does basically, it creates exclusivity, meaning ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ. So if you translate it as that is the Haq day, then you're translating it as that is the only Haq day. It's a form of hasr, right, in Arabic. So it's like that is the only Haq day. There is no other Haq day like this day. Or if you translate it as ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ, then you're saying that day is the Haq. There is no other Haq. This dunya is not Haq. This dunya is batil. This dunya is temporary. This dunya is not lasting. It's not firm. Okay. فَمَنْ شَاءَ. So fa is wasal, right? So you're creating two things and you're bringing them together like we do with waw, fasal, right? Wasal rather. So this fa is what we call fasihiyya. Now fa fasihiyya has something hidden before it. So it's like saying ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ. That is the Haq day, right? And so therefore, مَنْ شَاءَ اتَّخَذَ إِلَى رَبِّهِ مَآبًا. Right? So مَنْ شَاءَ اتَّخَذَ إِلَى رَبِّهِ مَآبًا. So you have over here something which is hidden. What is that? If that's the case, if that is the day of the Haqq, if that's the case, in the dunya, what should you do? What preparations should you make? You should, in that case, مَنْ شَاءَ اتَّخَذَ إِلَى رَبِّهِ مَآبًا. Whoever wishes, they should take up with their Rabb a ma'aban, right? A place of return or a return. They should return back to the Lord. Okay, so we have over here man. So man it means whoever. So this includes man, woman, old, young, Muslim, non-Muslim, every single individual. Adam alayhi salam, Musa, Fir'aun, Ibrahim alayhi salam, Abu Lahab, everyone comes under this. Man sha'a takhadha ila rabbihi ma'aba. Whoever. So whoever here, you'd have this kind of inclusive. It's like including every single person. So your mind now goes from the day of judgment, it's gone towards everyone. This is a form of iltifat as well. You're shifting, right? So you're shifting from one place to another place. Man sha'a attakhadha ila rabbihi ma'aba. Also, there's a hadaf over here as well. It's like saying man sha'a, whoever wishes, right? Whoever wishes. What about whoever wishes? You're saying whoever wishes to do something, right? To do what? To get closer to Allah, to be successful, to be saved from the azab, from the torture, from the punishment, then he should do this. اتَّخَذَ إِلَى رَبِّهِ مَآبًا. Now, over here you have this concept of hiding things in sentences, because the human mind can actually pick these things up. اتَّخَذَ, it means to take, and it's from the word akhadha. Now, instead of Allah using the word akhadha, Allah has used ittakhadha for emphasis. Yeah, for emphasizing it. Ittakhadha, to hold fast to it. Ittakhadha. And the word ittakhadha in the Quran is interesting because it's used generally for things which are non-tangible. Yeah, so akhadha is usually used for something that's physical and you can grab. And ittakhadha is generally used for something like a concept. Hold fast to the religion of Allah, hold fast to obedience, hold fast to sabr. Ittakhadha yattakhidu. Okay, so this is the kind of word ittakhadha yattakhidu that's being used. The verb sha'a, here there's also an element of iltifat taking place. So camera shift is taking place over here because you've kind of used a past verb, right? And you're kind of in the present, ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ, and then it's like shifting taking place. So it kind of changes the mindset of the listener as well. And also past, why is past used over here instead of present? Why not say مَنْ يَشَاءُ فَمَنْ يَشَاء اتَّخَذَ إِلَى رَبِّهِ مَآبًا? Because man yasha, it has the meaning of present, but we want something which is certain, absolutely. So by using the past verb, by saying basically sha'a, you're actually saying as though something has absolutely been certain, right? So in Arabic, basically, when you say, you actually say this: whoever willed, whoever wanted, whoever willed, they would have taken up with their Lord ma'aban. But that basically means whoever wants, 100% whoever wants. So this is past, which comes for certainty as well. Okay, next. So you have over here the word ila. Now, ila rabbihi, right? This is supposed to actually come right at the end. Supposed to be man sha ittakhadha ila ma'aban ila rabbihi. So it's actually muta'alliq in tarkib i'rab wise to the word ma'aban over here. So that's one thing. Taqdeem has taken place, and we know what taqdeem comes for. It comes for exclusivity. The other thing over here is that ila is actually like to. So normally when you use the word ila, it's like going from one location to another location. So it's like a physical movement that's taking place. So ittakhadha ila rabbi, it's as though you're going towards your Lord. You're on a journey, right? So just like there's physical journeys, land journeys, there's also time journeys as well. There's also spiritual journeys as well. So whoever wants ittakhadha ila rabbihi, they have to go towards their Lord and their Lord only, ma'aban, as a return. They need to sort their lives out. And Allah is saying this. They need to sort their lives out. Whoever wants on that day, whoever wants to be saved, you need to sort your life out. You need to get back to your Rabb. All the things that you're doing and you've deviated away from your Rabb, go back to your Rabb. Ma'aban, you need a ma'aban. Right, so ila rabbihi. So the Rabb over here is mentioned instead of the word Allah. Why mention this? Because there's munasabah here. Because you're living a life, and as we're living a life, we can relate more with Allah being the Rabb than Allah being His uluhiyah, right? His, the one that deserves worship. Because Rabb, we're always seeing the bounties of Allah left, right, and center, all around us, day and night. Allah's bounties are, we're covered in Allah's bounties. We're drowning in Allah's bounties. So therefore, it makes more sense. Like there's a more kind of like intimacy as well. Because if you say Allah, it's like we don't really have a connection with Allah. But when you say Rabb, it kind of brings down the stern nature of this verse, like the seriousness of this verse. It brings it a bit down. Man sha'a ittakhadha ila rabbihi ma'aban. Whoever wishes, his Rabb, he needs to get back to his Rabb. He needs to connect. He needs to make his connection with his Rabb once again. Okay, so that's the word Rabb over here. So it has this kind of a intimate meaning, and this is what we need to understand in the Quran, where Allah mentions these words. These words have a very profound effect, right? So me and you, we need to be aware of this, the differences. And sometimes you'll see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not mention certain names and words because of this. Right, so ma'aban. Now ma'aban can either be place of return, which is dharf, ma'ab, the place, or ma'aban can also be a mastar mimi, we call it, right? So it just simply means ob, right? And this is probably a word you guys have probably heard, which aibina ta'ibina, aibuna ta'ibuna hamiduna. Yeah, so aibun, aib, aba, yaubu, it means to return, to go back to something that you kind of came from. So like your house is called your ma'ab, your resort, your retreat rather, that you retreat back to. So your ob is like going back to the thing that you are originally from, your indigenous place. We are from Allah. This is where we originate from. So when we deviate from Allah, we need to go back to Allah. Just like, when we say you go back to your home, you go back to your parents, you go back to your mother. So this is like we got to do ob back to Allah. So ma'ab would mean a home, and ma'ab in the masdar would mean like to return. And this is a special type of returning, which is going back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anyway, so we've got that covered now. Right, so here we also have, the question is, where are you from? It makes you question. Like, did you ever think that by default you came from Allah? Allah created you, Allah brought you, and from day one, you were in the obedience of Allah, and then you shifted away, you moved away, right? And you need to come back. You need to be from amongst the muttaqeen who are going to get, hadaiqa, a'naban, kawa'ib, atraban, and you can't be from the taghin. The taghin have like crossed the limits. So it kind of fits in with tagha, which means to cross the limits and transgress and go away, like a child transgresses and goes away from their parents, like that. Okay, so we also here have fawasil. as usual, right? Fawasil, most of the chapter is following this particular form, fawasil, with the alif at the end. And here there's actually a khabar which actually means amr. So when Allah says to someone, whoever wishes, they should take up a return. They should start making plans. They should take up a return back to Allah. This is actually a khabar, right? But in the meaning of an amr, Allah is commanding us to do this. It's like Allah saying, ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ اتَّخِذُوا إِلَىٰ رَبِّكُمْ مَآبًا. Go back to your Lord. Go on. Stop making preparations. Go back to your Lord. Look how far you've gone off. But this is like a nice way of saying it. It's like a gentle way of saying it, right? So, Allah uses different expressions to invoke different feelings inside of a person, right? So He's used the khabar here, like a sentence which is giving the meaning of khabar instead of. Okay, and we've got some other things over here as well. I mean, if anything that came to your mind, put it in the comments as well. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say as well. So number one, okay, let's list. You've got musnad ilayhi issues here, right? So musnad ilayhi, basically mubtada, right? Using dhalika gives the meaning of distance as well. Number two is you have the khabar with ma'na ta'zim. So khabar here has come to give the greatness of Allah's day, this day. You also have number three, you have hasr. Al is being used as an adat of hasr, a wording which is used for exclusivity, and you got it both on al-yawm and al-haq. Number four is takrar. So takrar is basically repetition. So you've got lots of repetition in this surah if you check it out. Al-yawm has come several times, right? So it kind of repeats in your head, al-yawm, al-yawm, al-yawm. So yawma yaqumu ruhu, inna yawma al-fasli. So all of this kind of sticks in your head. Right, you've got also jinas as well. So for example, like like we mentioned, al-yawm was mentioned before, yawma yaqum was mentioned there. You've got hadaf there as well. Missing words, wasal, fa. Okay, you've got iltifat as well, shifting the camera scene. It's being shifted over here. You've also got ta'keed, emphasis as well. So emphasis being used, ta'keed. Right, man sha'a ittakhadha ila rabbihi ma'ab. Whoever wishes, ittakhadha, he needs to make plans to get back to his Lord. Okay, number 10, you've got taqdeem. So ila rabbihi has been brought forward, which gives it the meaning of exclusivity. You've also got kathratul ma'ani, multiple meanings inside the word, like for example ma'aban, or even the dhalika al-yawm al-haq. Multiple meanings can be taken out of it. Number 12, you've got munasaba as well, appropriateness. So for example, like the bounties of Allah being mentioned here, the Rabb is mentioned over here, the Yawm being described as being Haqq. Number 13 is tasweer, imagery that's being created over here in the mind of the listener. Fawasil, ending of the verses. Now this tasweer, by the way, is very important because tasweer, as you can see, it kind of engages the listener, the reader. You kind of it becomes more interactive for the person. So it creates in the mind this imagery of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's day, right? And it's very powerful because, it's like it has more of a, you can say, it's like applying the theory. So rather than just giving you theory, it's actually giving you application of it as well. And in the mind, listeners love to see illustrations and examples. 15 is khabar with the meaning of amr over here. Man sha'a ittakhadha ila rabbi ma'aba. You got khabar, but that comes in the meaning of amr. And number 16, you've also got akhadha bima'na ittakhadha, or ittakhadha bima'na akhadha, right? So the ittikhadh, this is also a very important thing as well, right? So these are some of the things which come into my mind, right? And I'm probably missed out lots of things, and you can add them in if you think, right? So this surah starts off with amma yatasa'alun. Now when you start with amma yatasa'alun, basically, you're talking about the ikhtilaf, and then Allah mentions about his Rabb, him being a Rabb, and what he's done for us, the sky, the earth, the sun, etc. Then Allah shifts on to the day of judgment, Yawm al-Fasli, mentions the two groups of people, the Taghin, the transgressors, and also those people who are the Muttaqeen, and then moves on from there to the day of judgment, Yawma yaqumu ruh. You have this imagery of this ruh and the malaika all standing. Then you have this verse, or the next part, which is Dhalika al-yawm al-haq. Now the Dhalika al-yawm al-haq, this is, powerful because Allah then says, what does he say? He says, man sha'a, after mentioning that, dhalika al-yawm al-haq. It's like the whole of the surah is being brought down, it's been brought to one climax, What's that climatic point? That's this. Man sha'a ittakhadha ila rabbihi ma'aban. Right? This is like the summary of this entire surah. It just comes down to this. All of what was being mentioned early on, it's coming down to all of this. And it's like Allah is saying to us, the whole point of mentioning all of this is every human being needs to get back to their Rabb. Right? They need to get back to their Rabb. They need to recalibrate themselves spiritually and, in obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bring themselves all the way back. Man sha'a ittakhadha ila rabbihi ma'aban. Right? So this is like, you can say everything comes up to this point. And it's very kind of, if you think about it, it's a very powerful way of like bringing everything together in the surah. All the words nicely kind of fit together. So anyway, Jazakumullah khair. Hope you guys have benefited from this lesson. If you have any sort of questions, anything to ask me, put in the comments. Thank you very much, patrons, for all your support, all the the support for this channel. I'm happy making these videos. Jazakumullah khair. And also, if you guys want to become patrons, if you guys want to help me in making more videos and supporting me in this channel, and you believe that this cause is a cause that a lot of people out there would benefit from these videos, then become a patron. The link is in the description below. Check it out. There's lots of perks in there as well. Some of them you actually get free lessons with me, and many of them you get extra videos that general public will not be getting, or they don't get. So Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much for watching this, and I will see you next time, inshallah. Take care, people of Balagha. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much, guys, for watching this video. And again, thank you to all my patrons as well for all your support. Jazakumullah khair. May Allah reward you immensely. If you guys want to become a patron, then links in the description below. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.